Layup line today, Kyle. The CBS college football jingle.
Iconic, but doesn't get my juices flowing like the NFL.
What a hot
today.
take that is. I can't even hear no offense to your by the way, you're very good at your job.
You're great.
I watched you yesterday. He's up at the telestrator. He's like John Madden in the flesh.
Thank you,
in
guys.
a studio.
I have fun doing it. It's fun.
I can tell. Thomas Davis,
I'm out of my comfort zone. Yeah, all those guys. Shout out to CBS Sports. Check us out on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. CBS Sports, that other pregame show.
Watch your back, Strahan.
We have a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know. He's pretty good at his job.
Jimmy Johnson, where's your 6?
You are good though. I was sitting there watching. The kids wanted to watch you and all that stuff. So
that's awesome.
You're good, but you're wrong about that jingle. That jingle is elite. And when you hear Gary Danielson and fucking Nestler, and we were reminiscing about Vern.
I like the old Bubba Sparks ESPN College Game Day intro where he would mix it up and tailor it for each week, right? They'd travel somewhere. And
we're coming.
But you like that better than the CBS jingle.
I do, probably because of when it was in my life. I remember that a lot of the guys in this room were part of an NCAA college football league that took place at our house as kids. And you were the commish. You two were probably the commishes. And, I remember hearing that music and watching college football, watching you play. It would always be watching College Game Day. So
I played in the Bubba Sparks era.
That music,
ACC football, Raycom.
Say with the pilot, Chris held back from being disrespectful there, but I'm with him with what he was about to say. I can't hear the CBS or Fox or NBC for that matter, any of those pregame jingles. But CBS college football?
Oh man, when those horns roll out on a Saturday afternoon. See 90,000 fine Southerners waving pom-poms and shit. Drunk people.
That gets me going.
That gets my juices flowing, dude.
I like the tweet we see every Saturday morning from Kirk Herbstreit.
Unpaid amateur athletes.
Lee Corso says, morning, sweetheart. I love that every Saturday. That's what I do like.
Yeah. Shout out to Lee Corso. Layup line, well, we did CBS song, but I would do the House of the Rising Sun because I feel like I just stumbled out in the street and the light's hurting my eyes and I'm a little lighter in the pockets after this weekend. And, New Orleans is part of the problem. I'm not betting New Orleans anymore. I'm about ready. There's a lot that I'm about ready to say, like, I'm just wrong about, this season already. There's a lot I'm ready to say I'm right about, but the stuff that you're wrong about really makes you feel like an idiot at your job. You know what I'm saying?
It's healthy. We had to apologize for some of our takes on our show this past weekend.
What was your worst take?
I had to apologize because I was so sold on Justin Fields after watching him play in a celebrity softball game this offseason. I made a tweet declaring my independence from the Jay Cutler fandom and Mr. Trubisky. I said, I'm a Justin Fields guy now.
Yeah.
He's handcuffed. Stuff like that. I'm just dead wrong about.
Ready for a stat here?
Probably not.
I wrote this bad boy down. The Bears have 23 pass completions through 3 games.
Dude, it's bad. They were running like draws on 3rd and long. It's not raining anymore. It was windy, and I'm a little bit. The wind really disappointing this weekend.
Windy city.
Well, I mean, it was a gusty city. We had gusts in the 20s. I bet the under in that game, and Davis Mills. Well, really the running backs. We'll talk about that game in a little. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Let's talk about that game right now.
More like O'Harrowing Descent International Airport with all the wind.
It's actually about the politicians.
How many times have you told that one?
I think that's the second time.
Yes. Don't tell me I'm not listening. That was a fucking Campbell's Chunky Soup game, man. It was like early for a Chunky Soup game, man. It was 20, 25 mile per hour winds. It was 2 really good backs. Yeah, I was going to ask you, the first thing I was going to ask you today is, are we off the Justin Fields bandwagon?
I'm not off the Justin Fields bandwagon because I have excessive pride. It's called hubris, some may call it, and it's going to end up killing me one day. But I will say this, Justin Fields, just let it fly. I mean, everybody.
Oh, he's letting it fly.
I need to just see more and more fuck it throws.
Yeah.
Because you're in that, you're 2-1. You shouldn't be 2-1, but you are.
First place.
Go throw some fuck it throws out there. There's a lot of Bears fans who are saying, what's going on with our quarterback? We thought this was the franchise guy, and then seemingly he can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Well, the Bears fans have practice at this.
But I will say this, the offensive line issues that they were making, there was much ado about this offseason. And, one of the names, Sam Mustipher, was one of the names that people hated to see in the starting lineup. He's been a great part of this line. He can play any of the interior 3 spots. They had 180, I think it was 150 and 2 tuds from Khalil Herbert after David Montgomery went down.
That's the big part.
David Montgomery's a huge part of that offense.
Yeah. Kansas Jayhawk Khalil Herbert.
Catches the ball.
Not ranked Kansas
catches
Jayhawks.
the ball,
Talk
runs
to Nicole
the ball.
Auerbach about that later.
So, they're not throwing the ball, but they can run the ball. So my panic meter isn't very high on the Bears, but they need to
Why would you panic about a team that's not making the playoffs, Kyle?
They need to find out how to get Justin Fields more confident because he's regressing right now.
I do want to say this, and spoiler alert, my St. Louis Memorial Award is going to Roquan Smith. He almost didn't play. He recorded 16 tackles. Okay, that can be a meaningless stat, but it is a volume stat, especially if you were a game-time decision. This is a guy that was almost traded, right, or asked to be traded. He was unhappy, but he really personifies that Bears defense more than anybody. Stepped in front of a Davis Mills pass at the end of the ball game to set up the win. And I don't know, that was a bad pass, but I feel like Rex Burkhead could probably give a little body position there.
Which one are you talking about? The
pick six,
the death knell one,
no, not
or the one
pick
before?
Six, the one that set up the game-winning kick.
Okay, that was tipped. It was
a tipped?
It was tipped.
Yeah.
It was tipped at the line.
But either way, Burkhead, he's just standing there, and Smith makes a great play. Like, some things are like really bad throws, but some things are like Roquan Smith was over there when the ball was thrown, and he got here in a hurry.
He's so straight line speed. He's so instinctive. He sees so well. And when he's right, like you're saying, he is the archetypical Chicago Bears middle of the field linebacker because he can get downhill like Urlacher and make plays sideline to sideline. He's got ball skills. And then I'm going to go with my STL memorial for Eddie Jackson, a guy that I called him out for being on a milk carton.
Yep.
And he had, the game-winning pick off of a tip. And he's making plays. He's getting his hand on the football. He made a name for himself getting the hand on the football, and he's doing it again.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. When you see Eddie Jackson, who made a big play in San Francisco, big pick in that game, he had a pick in the end zone, Vildor on the tip, and then also forced a fumble on Damien Pierce, that didn't end up killing him. But these are plays that if you make them in volume, you're going to end up with the football more often than not. And Eddie Jackson playing well. Roquan Smith playing well. I don't know. Pretty long segment about the Chicago Bears here.
Now that we've led with the marquee game from Sunday.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bears-Texans, let me tell you about my America's teams.
Yeah. Well, can I go first? I'd hate for you to tell me I copied you.
Mine, one of mine is the Chicago Bears. That was just a segue. Got it. Nah, you hit them. You hit them.
No,
and
you
then
go. We'll go 1-1.
Okay. Chicago Bears 2-1, first place. Bad. They're bad. They're not good.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to say about results. You hear a lot about the process. Don't focus on the result. Focus on the journey. Focus on the process.
We're building something here.
Yeah. Bears are more like, nah. Well, look at us. We're gonna get to 2-1 in first place, and we'll see you at 5-12 later in the season. But for now, look at us. Give us our flowers.
Here's what I forgot. Damian Pierce, real quick. 2 fumbles yesterday. Got to watch out for that. My rookie of the year picked Damian Pierce.
Well, yeah.
It was outshined by Khalil Herbert yesterday.
80 yards in a tud.
I mean, he looked good, but he can't put the ball on the ground. Okay, you're number 1.
They're going to be my number 5. I'm going to go 5.
Number 5? Okay, yeah. Got it. Mm-hmm. My number 5, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal.
Yep. Once rivals, now crying while holding hands together.
Neither of them American.
That's true.
But I just wanted to claim them.
Love fest.
Rafa and Fed lost in the third set breaker.
They lost in that doubles match?
Yeah.
Boy, they buried the fuck out of the lead on SportsCenter, didn't they? They were just like, look at this. And they were both crying.
Hence the tearful goodbye. Because they lost.
Do you think they would have not cried had they won?
I just thought they were emotional.
They wouldn't have done the ceremony. Yeah.
It's okay to cry as a man, but when you sit next to another guy and you're both crying, it's a tough scene.
Here's some inside baseball.
Yeah.
Doubles is a lot different than singles, and those cats don't play doubles. So not a major surprise.
So why go out with doubles?
That they went down. Well, because Fed can't move around. That's the whole point of the retirement.
It's the elephant in the room.
Yep. His knee doesn't work anymore. But he made it out. He made it out healthy.
Okay.
And hey, if you can laugh, think, and cry, that's a full day. That's one hell of a day.
America's teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just crying. I was just fucking crying, trying to have a full day, just crying.
I think this is kind of low-hanging fruit with the President's Cup. Max Homa again. 2 weeks in a row making the show. He's becoming a recurring guest on Greenlight. Thanks for joining us, Max Homa, America's team. Everybody loves him.
Did we win? Did we win the President's Cup?
We always win. We're kind of undefeated in everything. Alabama, again, absolutely dominant.
That's how we should be doing it.
Absolutely dominant performance, 55-3 against an in-conference opponent. Vanderbilt, they're supposed to be smarter than us, but guess what? We got bigger weaponry at Alabama. USA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So moving
the budget
on.
Here is out of control.
Take your brains and shove them.
Notre Dame, they prayed more before this game. They beat UNC.
Yeah,
okay, back on it. We sucked last week, but Notre Dame, by God, we're back this week.
By God.
They beat the Tar Heels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. Moving on. I'm going to let Reed do this one. The James Madison University.
They're my top 5, too.
Are you Dukes fan or are you not? Go Dukes.
Yeah,
what a win, too.
So it
and
is.
Playing the clock at the end. We were sweating a little bit, but we got it done.
Credit where credit's due. They unseed America's
Unranked
team from
well.
last week. Yeah, unranked as they should be.
Wow. And my winner for America's team this week is the Kent State Golden Flashes, because there's nothing more American than going up against superior firepower and giving it everything you got. And I'll tell you what, those Kent State Golden Flashes, they showed up to play against Georgia Bulldogs.
When do we go up against superior firepower?
Yeah, I thought we had the most
You
firepower.
guys ever heard about the Revolutionary War?
You ever hear about it? Oh, yeah.
We had to get here on the fucking foundation set by those guys. Mel Gibson did that for us, and we're here now to be Alabama Crimson
But Mel Gibson was fighting a bunch of other Mel Gibsons, bro.
Yeah, well.
They all had little round bullets.
Artist interpretation, okay?
I want to show you a present-day bar
They
chart
got water
about
breaks as they were
military
reloading.
spending.
Fucking.
I feel like that was a pretty good America's team.
Yeah, no.
What was it?
That was dope. I think you went with Kent State covering 45.
Yeah.
It's actually fairly close. There's definitely a Notre Dame in there.
Okay.
Max Homa, I think, made the cut.
President's Cup.
Interesting.
America versus the world.
Okay. What, do you want to go 4 through 1, or I'll go 4 through 1?
Alabama.
I just feel like we're going to have some overlap.
In Alabama, we're not.
Okay, good. Go 4.
Okay. Joining the Chicago Bears, Middle Tennessee. They go
That's
down.
God damn it, you son of a bitch. Are you kidding me? Okay, they're my 4.
You wanna
Go ahead.
Here,
Do it.
we'll tag team it.
Here, same time. 3, 2, 1.
Beat Miami.
Beat Miami, and that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the naps in the group chat. You're not in the group chat.
Naps.
We got
Because
a
of
Miami
naps.
guy.
Because of naps, I'm
we got
not
a
in the group
Miami
chat.
guy who left the group chat because of the monarchy, and now he's back to call me. He's complaining what's going on down in Miami.
Miami fans, respectfully, are awful.
The worst.
And so now that they're 2-2 and they take it on the chin to Middle Tennessee at home, that's a beautiful thing to me. Nothing more American than the middle of the state of Tennessee.
And not just, and we've been to Murfreesboro. Well, yeah, I mean, like I barely escaped Murfreesboro. We 17-16, I think we beat them. Not that I'm hanging on to college football, but those fucking guys are tough. They're really tough there. They don't usually travel as well. So Miami, this is a bad look for y'all.
5,000 people in the stands.
This is a bad look for y'all.
And FSU's 4-0. You know the state of Florida, they're freaking out a little bit.
It's a perfect time for Miami fans, the U, to be like, we like pro football more here.
Right.
It's a perfect time for a pivot. You know what I mean?
Just wait until we build our spaceship in Coral Gables.
Yeah.
All right, 3. Shout out to the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Now,
Yes.
I know you escaped, speaking of escaping, with the Clemson Tigers money line, among other things. I felt bad for the Deeks. This had the potential to be a really special season, still could be. Sam Hartman's playing. They looked good. They had every right winning that ball game and didn't in the end. And Clemson, for me, has become really freaking annoying. That coach annoys the hell out of me.
Running down the hill first.
And then,
Oh my God, he has to. He's like my kid.
To midfield.
He's running down the hill before his player.
My kids have to run. They're at the age where they have to do every fucking thing first, dude. They're running down the stairs first. They're tripping each other. They're falling down the stairs. They're hurting each other.
And then he turns to give his guys low fives, and oh wait, they're 20 yards away because I sprinted this far.
Well, in his defense, he does get paid the most on that team.
That's true.
So,
wow,
that's true.
The most money should be down the hill first. Right?
Yeah. Good
that
point.
hill looks treacherous to me.
Agreed.
Like there's some things
worse than Scott Stadium's hill.
Well, we don't have to run down it.
But if
and I think it is steeper and longer.
I mean,
Howard's rock. Is that what it is?
You got it. Frank Howard. They rub his rock.
They rub that rock every week. They rub that thing.
My kids
shiny.
are acting like Dabo.
Yeah.
We got the Dabo rule.
Dabo's
in my house.
acting
like you don't have to run. You don't have to run. You don't have to be first to everything. Be first at the shit that matters. Waylon will loaf around the soccer field and then beat his brother to the kitchen. I said that to him yesterday. I was like, "Why don't you run on the soccer field?"
What did he say?
He just looked at me.
So what's up, Deeks? I'm sorry for your loss. The Toronto Blue Jays are one of my America's teams.
Yes, we looked at
86 and 67. They're about 2.5 games clear of missing the playoffs, which is a weird way to say that. They're number one in the wild card with about 10 games to play. You know the usual suspects: Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette. They're my guys.
Of course.
We're only a year removed from my
Bichette.
keeping their record in my Twitter thing.
Yeah, dude, what
all year
happened to
long.
that?
Well, nobody cared ever,
Nobody
so
cared.
I let it go. But I did make it the entire year. We are going to be back in the playoffs and making noise. We're going to bounce those New York Yankees and their stupid. Roger Maris, cool man. You know who my home run king is? His name's Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I'm
His
in
name's
agreement
Barry
with you.
Lamar Bonds.
I'm in agreement with you.
Golly,
The greatest
damn.
hitter
TV guy.
the greatest hitter by a wide margin in MLB history.
Well, okay. Can I say this about Aaron Judge? Get the fuck off my TV when I'm trying to sweat Clemson.
For sure.
I love
Like
it.
the
I
guy
love the
is
Aaron
just
Judge
he's
chase.
hovering. He's like Jason.
I'm going to throw my pen down right now for this because
What?
I'm disappointed in you guys. We grew up in the era of the home run chase. We grew up in the era of Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa. I'm working in New York City. Every cab that I'm in, everybody on the street corner is talking about Aaron Judge. Every newspaper, Aaron Judge, the race to whatever the fuck. And I think it's the coolest thing ever, honestly. And I don't follow baseball like I used to, and I'm a baseball guy. But this has made me
I live in
tune
Charlottesville and I'm tired
But
of
this
it.
has tuned me into baseball. I think it's great. People always say we need to grow the game of baseball, like shrink the time, you know, increase the pop culture. This is it. We're looking at it.
Remember, like a month ago, we were like, let's talk about Aaron Judge today, and everybody was like, why are we talking about Aaron Judge?
That's perfect example, though.
Now that Pujols guy, I can get behind that guy.
I love that, too.
And here's the Pujols thing, because that was magical, man. Like 2 dongs in the first couple innings there. We're still on America's team here, so you don't lose your place. But this guy's, parking dongs. He's got 699, and before I know it, it's 700. And I'm thinking to myself, like, my viewing party might be being a St. Louis resident and being in one of those bars. Kingston, you spent time in St. Louis bars. They're a fun place. Imagine being in a bar like O.B. Clark, shout out to O.B. Clark's, and watching that with a bunch of St. Louisans. The problem was, and I don't know, you guys tell me, the game was on Apple TV. Do bars get Apple TV? If you're in St. Louis, you can watch that game locally, yeah?
It's a big enough deal in St. Louis that they would get Apple TV just to get that game, yeah.
That's
you can
a
go
great
to the
sports
Best
town.
Buy and buy an Apple TV and pop it on.
Bro, it's so complicated to me.
It is.
But a lot of
Yeah.
people at home probably missed out.
Shout out
so
to
that
my
sucks.
wife for setting that up for me.
And a no doubter. You don't want to like Mark McGwire hit that ball like I hit the softball home run the other day. It just kind of like grazed the top of the fence.
Yeah.
Vintage Pujols.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear about that? I hit a dong.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. But
But great point. Aaron Judge at the Giants' short porch.
well, I could get to
I'm talking
61. About Pujols
I know,
the
I know,
yard in
I
a
know,
hurry.
I know.
in a fucking hurry.
Yes.
So you done with your America's team?
And my final America's
Okay.
team, the Arkansas Razorbacks, Woo Pig.
Great call.
They lost the game.
But they're gonna win this week.
Don't care. America is all about diversity, inclusion, representation, and Woo Pig. We got a white cornerback.
Nice.
Number 17, his name is Hudson Clark. Just very white. And
Hudson, dude.
Hudson Clark. Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good name.
Name of the ODU pup.
Yeah.
Jason Sehorn. Like, I can't remember the last one.
That's really it.
And it's eerily quiet in here.
Adam Archuleta.
No,
you guys are
welcome to my world.
Uncomfortable.
Welcome to my world. It fucking sucks.
No, I know. Hearing about a white quarterback is uncomfortable. I understand that. People at home are probably uncomfortable. But this cat was out there quick twitching and flipping his hips and
defying the odds.
Yes.
I played with 2 white safeties, Chris Conti, and I played against Arch, but those don't count. Those don't count.
Little different.
Those do not count.
Yeah, white safety, it happens. They're out there.
And it's like, hey, look at that.
I was hanging out with Harrison Smith's cousin this week.
Yeah.
Who, by the way,
Eric Weddle was in my wedding, stuff like that.
Shout out to Harrison Smith's cousin. I'm not going to dox him, but Eric Weddle was in your wedding.
Well, that was
That's
a
how
lie.
good of coverage Eric Weddle had as a white safety.
I was hanging out with Harrison Smith's cousin, and I wanted to mention this. I was at a dinner party with the guy. He's a great guy, tall guy. I don't want to dox him and give you his name, but the guy hates overtime, college overtime. Says there should be ties.
Oh.
Worst take I've heard at a dinner party. I told him that to his face, and it just met him.
I do get a little nostalgic when you see the early '90s records. Oh, that team was 7-3-2. Wow.
No, I don't like that. Let's.
But I think we have.
Let's do it
forward.
live, dude.
Yeah. We moved the game forward.
So you got Arkansas #1, Woo Pig. I got 5. I've got Federer and Nadal, big tennis fan here, and then 4, Middle Tennessee State. We'll go 3 JMU, the Dukes, because it makes me happy when dudes on set are happy. And they're one of the best teams in Virginia. I'm not saying they're the best team in Virginia. They're one of them.
I'll say it.
You think?
JMU is the best team in the state of Virginia.
This
right
weekend
now.
they were.
They're almost top 25. They had
We
a couple
lost
votes.
to possibly ranked Syracuse.
And Syracuse, respectfully, isn't good.
Okay. So
they are just
my top 2.
bad.
This is setting up for a big weekend. The tailgate event, the Legends tailgate in Philly this weekend. Get your ticket if you haven't. The Chris Long Foundation website. Bo Allen's going to be there.
Oh.
If the hurricane doesn't keep him in Florida. He called me this week. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make your thing. There's a hurricane coming. I'm like, what? Like in a week? Like you're gonna blow off the charity for a hurricane? Your car doesn't work? Start driving, Bo. I got Jags 2 and I got Eagles 1, and they play each other this weekend. The America Bowl in Philadelphia.
Good call.
The second most important
That's gonna be awesome.
football game in Philadelphia.
Jags and Eagles were receiving votes from me.
Yeah, they got to receive votes. I mean, these teams are fucking exciting as hell, and they're like, and you get the Doug Peterson storyline this weekend.
Game.
So Doug Peterson revenge game. I feel like Doug Peterson got revenge just by watching the Eagles beat up Carson Wentz this weekend. I mean, let's talk about that one real quick.
Yep.
More sacks than pass attempts in the first quarter for Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and the thing that was so clear to me, we were watching these sacks this morning again, and it's a case of defensive linemen winning one-on-ones and a case of a defensive coordinator having the confidence to say, I don't have to dial up pressure. I know that when given the opportunity, my rushers will get home. You saw BG win. You saw Sweat win after getting engaged by Leno, one of the league's better technicians. Leno had both hands on him. He got double hand swipe and got home. Fletcher Cox had a hump inside bull rush on the inside shoulder on the right guard. Carson stepped right into it.
Yeah. These
are a combination of great rushers and a quarterback holding the ball too long. I think it's not going to be enough with Carson in there right now. Unfortunately, I have zero faith in Wentz.
The Commanders aren't contenders.
That would have been a good name.
The Contenders.
Yeah.
The Washington Contenders.
Yeah, if only they did.
Like on every graphic in December in the hunt,
That's
it'd be the
amazing.
Contenders.
That's pretty good.
They could be 2 and 10.
That's pretty good. Is it too late?
Can we change the name?
Yeah, the Contenders.
Damn.
But you saw the sacks last week with the Commanders backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost.
Right.
This week, they're in the middle of the field. Their drive starts aren't in terrible spots.
Yeah.
And the Eagles are like pinning their ears back, pulling on the slot machine and seeing 7-7-7
Well,
every
listen,
time.
and it's a big day for a guy like Hassan Reddick to get 1.5, to get on the board. Now you're right back on track. You're 3 games into the season. You've got 1.5. A week ago, when you have no sacks, like 2 games into the season as a rusher that people are looking at, like that can weigh on you. And this cat's playing in a big media market. People were starting to whisper about, like, is he going to get home? Just be patient and, trust that the entire group's going to rush and crush the pocket together. I think another thing is, watching Carson, for the guys that play with Carson, there's always one thing that was going to frustrate you about Carson, even if you were a Carson fan, was that Carson holds the ball too long. And you're sitting there watching other guys get sacks on the other team on the opposite sideline. I can remember watching us play Carolina in 2018. It was one of those games we dropped early in the season. And Carson gave up a bunch of, coverage sacks at the end of the game. And dude's just looking around like, fuck. Not only does this hurt our team, but must be nice to rush a guy like Carson Wentz. You get to do that. Carson, lots of hugs. He was classy this week. I mean, what choice do you have? But, he said some things to the effect of, I could have been better there. So I'm going to give him credit for that, but not for the play on the field. The Birds got it done. Hey, housekeeping, because we're still early in the show. I want to shout out Keyshawn Davis of Norfolk, Virginia, who we met in Vegas, the businessman, big win. Friday night, after that Virginia loss to Syracuse, I turned on, I was like, let me see if some boxing. Oh, yeah, it's that guy we met, and he's just pummeling this cat. And I think this kid's pretty good. We got to have him on the show sometime. Bad gambling again, 5 and 6 in the plays that I gave out on the weekend. The juice just killed me. And then, Sunday night, this is one of those situations for me where you have to take it to the locker room. I know we're going to talk about Mahomes and Eric Bieniemy. I wish I had an Eric Bieniemy Sunday night. You're down. I'm chasing a little bit. I feel real good about the Niners.
Did you
got to throw in the over?
Your friend Stephen Macon told you about the Denver Broncos.
No, but what did you tell me? Trent Williams was going to get hurt?
It was totally the wrong side.
Yeah, it was. It was.
There are game breakers in this game, like a Micah Parsons, TJ Watt. Like, damn, like one dude can wreck the game. Is Trent Williams like a game maker?
Yes.
Offensively,
yes,
he is.
Yes,
I mean, as soon as he was out, I was like, fuck, man. The backup was getting whooped. They couldn't get going. I mean, Jimmy, the only consolation I'll give Niners fans is that Jimmy, didn't have preseason. He didn't have preseason. He just got going last week against the Seahawks. This is a different ball game on the road. Like, hello, Denver. Big crowd, good defense. Bradley Chubb, those guys. Randy Gregory. He's just not going to be quite ready yet. I'm not selling the 49ers. They'll get Mitchell back. They play strong defense. They're kind of like the Bucks in the out west. They're like the Bucks West. If they can lean on the run game, they'll hang around, and they got better weapons than the Bucks. They have a better offensive system than the Bucks, and they play defense the same way.
I want to segue off of what you said about their offense. I mean, obviously, much has been made about the mind there and control, but when you talk about the chess pieces he has in front of him, you ask about Trent Williams. Is he a game wrecker in the same light as Micah Parsons or an Aaron Donald? For an offense, you have to get the play started, and there's nobody better at getting the play started than Trent Williams. You can put him in so many different positions after the snap because of his athletic ability. He can go trap the right end or the left end rather from the left side to the right side. He can pin and pull with the tight end blocks down. He goes around. He can lead block. He's out on receiver screens on the edge. He's outside the numbers sometimes. So Kyle Shanahan can use a guy like Trent Williams as a weapon, not with the ball in his hand, but protecting the guys with the ball in their hand.
No question. You open the playbook up because of that guy. And, you open the playbook up in the pass game because of that guy. And so, that's a big loss. And it sounds like, what is it with him? He's going to be out a little bit. Was it a high ankle or something? Or
which takes a long time. And, I mean, they make their hay with the backside of a lot of their zone schemes with, we'd call it 38. 38 means we're running to the 8-hole, to the right-hand side.
The 8-hole?
The 8-hole, huh?
Yeah, the 8-hole.
Sounds like a shitty play.
So the left tackle, often the running back ends up sneaking behind the running back and up the middle of the field, behind the backside blocks.
Yeah, the B-hole.
There's nobody, the B gap.
Oh, my bad.
There's nobody better at sealing off the backside and going to get that backside linebacker because of that athletic skill set. A guy like Lane Johnson does it too because they can run like deer.
Yeah. And Reed, how you feeling? You feeling like riding or hiding? What's your ride or hide meter this morning look like?
Hey, man, we got to win.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Yeah.
We've had a couple bad years of not getting wins. I think what I texted Macon last night after the game ended was, what a stupid game.
Yeah.
And it was a stupid game. But next week.
Yeah. I'm glad I was able to watch every second of this ball game because I'm a little bit addicted to betting the Broncos in part because Cowboy is so just lovely and charismatic.
Yeah.
And my God, are they really bad?
Yeah.
Daniel's got his
no business winning that game.
His Madden coach in the booth, which is great.
His
but
play pal.
They have many more problems than Daniel Hackett. It's Russ and Jerry Jeudy are not on the same page. Russ and Cortland Sutton are on the same page.
Russ.
And behind and tons of checkdowns and first down and 10 is Javonte Williams up the middle. And I love Javonte Williams, but you're really predictable. And it being on the Broncos last night, it was probably a more frustrating watch than being on the Niners.
You think?
I mean,
well, at least I was happy for 40 minutes of that football game. I thought like this is going swimmingly, dude. So
there were 17 combined punts. 17, 10 from the Broncos.
There were so many possessions, bro. In the first quarter, there were 5-6 possessions. I was like, oh, we're gonna hit the over. Eventually, some of these possessions are gonna turn into points. No, not even close.
Broncos had 44 possessions in the first half because they just kept going 3 and out.
It was insane. And yeah, I got the 877 cash now hat on because I need cash now. Like, what am I gonna do tonight? I'm probably gonna bet the Cowboys. No offense.
That's fine.
And I wasn't seeing the board yesterday. I was like, Kyle, your guy, Michael Irvin. I wasn't seeing the board.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Irvin, who forgot his glasses in his hotel. And when I was refreshing my Twitter feed on the way to the airport, I saw him standing there like this in the studio with a suit on. And somebody tweeted to him, hey, Playmaker, I liked your glasses. What's up with the new look? And he replied, I forgot him in the hotel. I couldn't see anything.
That sucks. That reminds me of freshman year. They just reshared this game at the Carrier Dome. I forgot my contact lenses to play the Syracuse Orange.
I was at that game.
I couldn't see fucking anything, dude. I couldn't see anything. Luckily, Mom was coming up in the morning, and she grabbed a couple of my contact lenses. So I was like Michael Irvin out there yesterday, not seeing the board, but could have been worse. So
retroactive STL Memorial Award, Diane Long.
Yeah, for real, dude. For all the red eyes. Shout out, Mom. She used to go to your games at Oregon. Thanks for picking Oregon, Kyle. You know, we can make Mom go all the way across the country. America's team, not Kyle Long.
Chip picked me.
Get a map, okay? Chip picked you, and then she'd have to take the red eye to St. Louis to the Edward Jones Dome. And so she'd be like sleepwalking out there watching the Rams, which is kind of how you are anyways, watching the Rams.
And she's no Sierra sitting on her. Is it Sierra or Ciara? Whatever her name is. She's not sitting on her hands in the booth at Invesco. Diane Long is one of the greatest football fans I've ever watched.
Great football fan.
Watch a game.
If they put fans in the Hall of Fame, Diane Long will be a first ballot.
First
ballot.
Mother/fan.
High energy, loud.
Yep.
She's got that son call that she
primal.
That
almost.
she has a call,
out.
and then Dad has a call. Oh. God, Dad. Hey, I hear you.
I hear you through 80,000 people.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I know it's you.
And I'm gonna make a play on
shout out to our parents.
Yeah.
Okay, so the big games, which we took entirely too long to get to.
Sorry.
But at least we don't have to talk about the fucking Bears or the who else did we talk about anymore?
Don't even worry about it.
Bears, Texans, Broncos.
Yeah. We knocked a few of these. We knocked a few of these teams out. But the good teams too. I just want to say this: the good teams are also struggling to find their rhythm. You know, there's quarterbacks. There's a few good quarterbacks in the league right now who are going through it. Like whether it's Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, like they're dealing with a lack of weapons, and then guys who have weapons are thriving. Like Tua, Jalen Hurts, the guys that you hear.
Geno Smith,
your guy Mariota. Shootout up there in Seattle. We'll talk about that. Let me give you Reed's notes on that game real quick so we can just get that out of the way. And I'm with you, Reed. Atlanta battling hard through 3 quarters. Geno Smith continuing to show that he's the real deal. Cordero Patterson over 100 yards in 3 quarters. Drone delay. Those were we were in, we were out on that game, dude. Which is beautiful because I am not interested in talking about that game.
An unidentified drone started flying over the stadium.
I'm surprised that doesn't happen more. You know, all these kids are calling in bomb threats.
We hear about the snipers on the roof. Why don't you shoot the drone down?
You know, kids are, you know, we had a kid this weekend threaten something because he had money on a game. You know, just fly a drone over the game for a while.
Last week, a gal from a college, what was it?
Utah
threatened a nuclear
bomb. That's what I'm talking about.
Blowing up a nuclear reactor if the Utah Utes didn't win the football game.
Did the young lady have action on the Utes?
Now, I just think that's great. She sounds like a real football fan.
She's just supporting the team.
Yeah,
just supporting the team.
She did get arrested.
Well, get the nuclear reactor off your campus.
That's called martyrdom.
What the hell is that? That's your first problem.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping well at night.
Yeah. Cam Rising, more like nuclear reactor on our campus. I'll workshop it.
Buffalo, Miami.
Oh, I love this one.
That was actually pretty good. I get it now.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so the Bills, man, they ran 90 plays compared to Miami's 39, outgained them 497 to 212. Highest time of possession of a non-overtime loss since Week 7, 2014. So I'm just cautioning you. And this isn't me hating on the Dolphins. I've given them their due. They're going to the playoffs. They're a good football team. But they have won 2 games out of their 3 in really unorthodox ways the past. And that's part of being a really good team, is finding ways to win. But, you know, this is not sustainable. You know, the Bills being really banged up is not sustainable. Having said that, Tua made the throws he had to make in the red zone, although Milano got away with one with Milano. If Milano picks that ball off his pick six, that ball game's completely different. He made the throws in the red zone he had to make. That turnover was big. They essentially had to score 14 points offensively.
Out of the red zone, the 3rd and 22 to Waddle.
Oh, big.
And a deep ball.
And Waddle, the deep ball was beautiful. The deep ball was beautiful. That's the one thing he's doing. You know what? Like, what a difference Mike McDaniel does for not only the scheme in scheming people up, the players make a big difference, having players that can actually run, but then also to his confidence. You know, like, maybe he can throw the deep ball. Maybe he can. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't think he's one of the best deep ball throws in the league. I'm not going to sit here and you know, concede that he's a fucking Josh Allen or Justin Herbert, but maybe he's just fine throwing the deep ball. We'll see. This is 3 games. I want to see them kind of win conventionally for a little bit here.
In phase,
dude. You talked about Mike McDaniels making Tua more confident and seemingly more dynamic. One thing Reed pointed out to me, and I'm going back and watching the big explosives, there's a lot of pre-snap motion. Mike McDaniels' implementation of window dressing, as they call it in offensive coordinator rooms, is great. It's going to show on the back end what the defense is trying to do to you. You see a lot of these players moving, and guys have to be honest on the back end. And when you have 2 guys out for the Bills, it forces the hand of young players or less experienced players. They can't disguise coverage as much. So you're going to get the honest hand from the defense.
You're going to see if it's man or if it's zone. You're going to occupy people's eyes.
Those are the things before the play that can help you.
Eyes are a big deal. Like, you know, if you play defense in the NFL, you're always hearing about your eyes. Your eyes on the right thing. Pre-snap, post-snap. And, you know, motion, one of the reasons that it's so sketchy for people is even if you don't get a man zone kind of tip off, there are NFL coordinators that make a living off of motioning and occupying people's eyes in the run game.
And it's a chain of communication, too, before the play. If you see a motion and all week you say, okay, if that receiver goes from Y to Z, then you have to tell what's his face to communicate to him on the back end.
And the minute I turn my head to talk about a reset or a shift or, you know, the ball snap. Yeah. And my eyes are wrong upon the snap of the ball. So, like, I talked about this with Jacksonville. They were top 5 at least last week through 2 weeks in pre-snap motion. It showed watching Indy. Now I got to dig into the Jags game a little bit deeper, but you know, Doug's going to do some of that window dressing. You know, good offensive coordinators are going to use everything they have. You could tell right away that this game felt like it was going to be 40-40 kind of thing with Josh Allen and them going for it on the first drive to get Singletary. You got guys playing really fast. It's 120 degrees on the fucking field, which is insanity.
They got the dudes holding the shades on the sideline.
Insanity.
Like, just build a shade thing instead of hiring people to hold it.
Build an igloo, bro.
Yeah.
Build an igloo. It's not soft. It's 120 degrees. People are going to die out there, dude.
Yeah.
But it was it quickly turned into a game that the defense showed up in a bigger way than we thought they would. Like Buffalo being down, what was it, Reed, like 3-4 guys in the secondary? They still played pretty well. I mean, they found a way to bottle that Dolphins offense up. I mean, like some people say, well, they'd lost the game. You know, the Dolphins, again, after that Holland turnover backed up, the Bills gave them the ball and, you know, inside the 5. Like the Dolphins had to score 14 points. You know, the Bills defense did fine. You know, Milano was all over the field.
Only 4 targets for Tyreek.
4 targets for Tyreek. They only ran
39 freaking plays.
But the main thing is, it's amazing how good the Dolphins defense played yesterday and how much they're getting out of Ingram, who we talk about a lot.
It's the ball finds Ingram.
It's good to have a vet like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's not what he once was, but the guy can still fucking play, dude. And the guy's probably a tone setter, and the guy knows when to win rushes. Like, that's an innate quality of somebody who's been around a while. And, you know, he won rushes in big spots yesterday. I'm really impressed with this Dolphins defense. 20 pressures, 10 hits, 4 sacks.
Ogba with 4 of those hits.
And a great compliment to that defense, Chris. The ability to get down the field with explosive plays. And then when you get in that bunched up region in the red area, it's so much harder to score because that field gets shrunk down. Quarterbacks' reads are quicker. The defense is all closer to you. But you know what they do? They run the ball with Edmonds and they pound it in like a knife through butter. So you look at the polarity of that offense. You got on one end, you got heavy play action, deep bombs down the field, and then you got to respect our play action because we can knife this thing.
Yeah, and they did in that 2-minute drive against Baltimore. You can't go to sleep on their run game even when they're hurrying up because, you know, they can hurry up to the line and make an adjustment and gash you. But the Bills had chances here. And we haven't even talked about Tua and his concussion. We'll talk about that in a second. For people that are wondering. Or his back. The Bills had chances here, okay? The Bills had a chance to kick before the half. You remember that. And they go with that fake spike thing, which is kind of inexplicable to me. It seemed like a Josh Allen call. What was the explanation?
That he didn't get...
real talk, you got to go through coach press conference after because I can't get to him. And I know they tell us all the fucking answers.
That's a good idea.
What did they say?
He didn't get the snap cleanly, so he was trying to spike it, but then he was bobbling it and then just decided to throw it.
So it's a snap thing. It was a snap thing. Yeah, because they showed the replay. At first you're like, Josh, what are you doing? And then he's fucking fumbling around with this thing. But you can't spike it after that.
You could have, but he just
wasn't sure he had enough time.
Yeah, he aborted, he audibled, he threw it to
So that's 3 points right there, right? That's 3 points right there. That's the difference in the ball game alone. And then in the third quarter, they settle for a field goal in the low red. You drop the pick 6. And then, you know, Moss has that long run that sets up a missed field goal. So there's, you know, 3 points here, 3 points there. You know, obviously, we're not even going to talk about, being behind the play clock because it's so fucking loud there because people left, UM games to head to Joe Robbie Stadium or the Hard Rock Cafe Stadium, and it's loud and the play clock's winding down. It's fucking hot, and you're changing the protection, and Javon Holland comes in and wrecks the game. Really, I'm not even talking about that. I mean, but we're talking about missing that field goal after that Moss long run, and then immediately what happens after that, the big deep ball. So there's a sequence of opportunities for the Bills that they didn't take advantage of, and they were down a couple offensive linemen. I mean, they were falling apart at the end of the game. Both teams were. Waddle had a thing. Diggs had a thing.
And then what follows is the drive where they get to the Miami 2 at first and goal and can't punch it in.
Now, here's where it gets interesting for me. I don't hate that possession. They were slowing down, and I was screaming at the TV, slow down, run the ball, first and second down. I don't care how uninspiring it looks, but what you can't do is score and give the Dolphins the ball back with 2 minutes to go. I just don't maybe you trust your defense more than I do, but with 4 guys down in a 2-minute situation, I just don't. So I love them kind of stalling. I love them stalling.
First and goal from the 2, they go Singletary for a yard. That gets them to the 2-minute warning. Then Josh Allen -1 yard.
Here's where the problem starts because now you're running some clock. Let's score.
Now it's minute 55, incomplete to Diggs, then incomplete to McKenzie on 4th and goal from the 2, and then that leads to eventually
the butt punt.
The butt punt.
Which, I mean, that guy's glute has
backed up.
Sherfield, I think.
Worst spot to be.
Yeah, dude.
Literally backed up.
Yeah.
You got a ball in your butt.
Mike Golick Jr. had a good tweet. He said, "I'm going to tell my kids this is how footballs are made." And
that was really funny.
A still of the ball stuck in the player's ass.
That was just stuck there in the sphincter. So like they had their opportunities. They sure had their opportunity there. But if you'd have told me that they were going to bet, the point is, even if you don't get it down there, just take some time, have enough time left on the clock so you get the ball back. They had well over a minute. Shortish field, right after the safety.
It was a good kick. Morstead banged that. They started the drive at the 23.
So not great actually after the safety, and they end up, with a couple drops on that final possession. So they had a lot of chances to win this game. If I'm the Bills, I'm not worried about this. Like when we see them again, I feel really good about it. Especially in Buffalo. If you're the Dolphins, you're excited.
It's real. You're
real, dude.
Yeah.
You're fucking real.
Yeah.
But as far as like are the Dolphins the best team in the league? Like I can't make that fucking jump right now, dude. I know RG3 made that jump, but they're contenders. They're contenders in a tough conference. I mean, like they can win a playoff game in that conference. There are teams that can't win a playoff game and teams that can. Like that's all I know right now. They can win a playoff game.
Look ahead at Cincy Thursday night for the Dolphins.
That's gonna be so much fun.
It's sexy, and it's a tough spot.
Heating up Joe Burrow, try to blitz Joe Burrow. That's gonna be interesting.
I'll ask you two cats. Any problem with going from Monday night to Sunday early? And maybe hot Miami is worse than the Monday to Sunday turnaround.
I have a problem anytime you go short weeks.
Even Monday, Sunday?
Even 8 hours shorter. Like if we play Sunday night and you go to, or Monday night and then you go to Sunday at noon, that's all. I mean, it's tough. Your body gets so in tune to doing the same thing every week. Like Chris and I could tell you where we are on Wednesday at 8 a.m. because we're creatures of habit in the NFL, and so can the other 52 guys on the team. That shit sucks.
Yeah.
Your body doesn't have time to recover. Thank God it's early in the season and they have that extra juice in their tank, but
well,
it wears on you, man.
Well, listen, the Bengals just played the Jets. Not saying it wasn't a physical football game. Much different than that playoff game atmosphere football game that was just played in 120 degrees down there on the field, like in Miami. I do think you feel that on Thursday, but to your point, cutting hairs here, like even a 24 hour difference in your recovery. Like I can remember late in my career, I wouldn't feel better until I woke up on Sunday morning.
Yes.
Like Saturday night, I'm still sore and I'm working my balls off.
You're trying to imagine yourself playing a football game. Saturday night, you're walking around in the hotel, and some guys are great. I don't know why. Genetically, some guys are great. But then you're trying to convince yourself that your ankle doesn't feel the way it does, and that your elbow isn't doing what it's doing.
For me, it was the inflammation. It was every night's sleep, you wake up feeling 10% better. And then it gets to Saturday, and you're like, man, there's still a little bit left I got to work out. So I'm going to need 4 hours of body work after this meeting. I'm going to need to be like in my, I'd be up in the watching film in the Normatec boots. Like every second you're trying to get your body back. So if you have a short week like that, I don't care if it's one day. I don't care if it's, 24 hours. I said that two ways. I don't care if it's fucking 16 hours. I'm going to feel the difference.
Well, and the Bills played that proper late night Monday night game, even though it wasn't stressful.
Yep.
You're still losing.
And now obviously it's been indicated that Tua didn't have a concussion. He went down hard. His head snapped into the ground. Clearly to me, it looked like a head injury. Now people are saying back injury. So when you go to short week, I think about the carryover from that.
Well, conspiracy theorist here. Well, whether or not,
could it be a late onset?
It's not a tough leap to imagine that they were like, yeah, what could we say it is? Like it's the NFL. I'm not. But you got to go off of what they say. It could have been a back. I look at the video and the offensive line. It seems like they ask him, "Are you good?" And then like they kind of relax. I don't know if they realized at that point that maybe it was a back. I thought it was, it's a classic, like the back of your head hits the ground.
Yep.
He's wobbling. I don't know how they took their word for it. Teddy Bridgewater went in and went 3 and out, and you're like, okay, the Bills are going to win this football game.
Tua at least left the field.
Yeah.
And was checked out.
Yeah.
But to tell me it's a back.
Can I make my Miller Lite mention?
You calling Tua a liar?
Yeah.
You're calling Tua Tagovailoa a fucking liar?
He doesn't know what he is right now.
Tua's peeing on my hand right now and telling me it's raining.
The hand, huh? So,
Chris, that's my fly on the wall, my Miller Lite mention. I'd love to be in that training room. I'd love to hear the conversation because they go and talk to Tua. Somebody looks at him, and then they walk in the back room with another guy in a blazer, and they come up with a decision.
So did your back hurt this week at all?
Good.
Yep. All right. So we believe in the Dolphins, right?
Yep.
They're a playoff team. Stop me when I'm wrong. They're a contender.
Mm-hmm.
They're the best team in the league.
No.
Okay.
Stop. Red light.
Right. I just feel like we're going to look back at this and say, hey, yeah. We might have been a little bit overreactive. And that's not me. I mean, like, I've already conceded that, hey, Tua, I did not realize how much of an infusion Mike was going to put in this fucking offense. I mean, they look great.
My Miller Lite viewing party, I'd love to be in that booth with Ken Dorsey. I've been in a booth or two.
Yeah.
And more importantly, next to booths of coordinators who are banging on glass and nearly breaking it. You got to play it cool. It's kind of like when you see yourself on the TV and you look down at the field. Don't look back up at the TV. There's one cat, two guys over from Dorsey who's looking over like, oh shit,
I'm in the background of this.
He's losing.
And he didn't get the memo about the tablet.
Breaking everything.
They literally were like, hey, Ken Dorsey and Tom Brady and everybody that works for the NFL, stop breaking our shit. Just like stop going office space on our equipment. And Ken Dorsey, we almost made it. But I get it. Like, the time was after that fake spike in the first half, after that whole deal, like you got to be frustrated.
I was on the sideline coaching against North Cross, their football team last week. Yeah, we can get into that. And
did we win or lose?
I'm going to give myself the hollow man for not preparing.
I was going to give you the hollow man
for not preparing my offensive line and my defensive line for a North Cross team that was clearly better coached. And that fault, I fall on that sword, and that's my fault.
We lost.
But
did we lose?
You're real Dan
Why won't anybody tell me the results of the game?
We lost.
Dude, it was 40-something.
We lost the game. We lost the game, and I got to be honest. The technique that I was teaching to our tackles hindered their success on Friday night, and I was really mad about it, and I could see myself going Ken Dorsey if I wasn't on the sideline with the other guys because I want to set a good example.
Do you wear a headset?
I do wear a headset.
Throwing the headset's a good move. I like that move.
I don't
You're going to get it tangled on you.
I don't wear a hat on the sideline, so that's my accessory. I'm not going to lose my accessory.
Or heaven forbid, break it.
So, Indy, Kansas City. I want to say this first. I don't get the clock thing. Are you on the clock thing here at the end of this game? No.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay. So 17-13, a minute 55 to go, right? You're the Chiefs. The Colts have the ball in plus territory. You get a big Taylor run on 1st and 20 at 1:55. That's when that play starts. Okay. The next play you run, Pierce, who had a big day, and we'll talk about all that in a second, for the Colts, catches the ball, comes down in bounds. You can call a timeout at 1:05 here. You got 3 timeouts. Right? This team might go in and score. They might not. But if they do, you want some time, right?
Yep.
So Andy's just letting the clock run. And the next play that snapped after that Pierce reception on first down, I believe it was, is all the way down at 24 seconds. So from 1:05 to 24, you have an opportunity to call timeouts. So you give Patrick Mahomes the ball back with 24 seconds. And you end up rushing and throwing a pick to my guy, Rodney McLeod, who had a big day, right? So you're at damn near midfield. What is Patrick Mahomes going to do with 35 seconds extra?
So we've seen it time and time again, actually. 35 seconds extra, you're absolutely right.
The difference between a minute
and 2 timeouts.
And 2 timeouts, bro. I always want to take my timeouts when I don't have control. The offense is dictating the tempo down here. What if the Colts started running the ball? And running their offense to the minute and 5. They stayed aggressive and went to our guy Jelani Woods.
Shout out to Jelani Woods.
2 touchdowns. The last one on Juan Thornhill, another UVA guy. That was painful.
Virginia everywhere.
There's Virginia everywhere. That's the lead.
Yep.
There's just so many Virginia guys out there.
Yeah.
But they're hurting at linebacker. Willie Gay's out. Willie Gay, he's out for off the field issues. The first touchdown to Jelani Woods, that was on the replacement. Play action pass. They were a little susceptible to, as you say on CBS, that other pregame show. You say they get sucked up.
Sucked up. The suck. It's all about the suck, and the suck only happens with a good offensive line push. Really make the D line feel rough.
Bad eyes though. It's the eyes thing, and guys that don't have a lot of reps. Willie Gay's out. But my point is, I just didn't understand that. I'm wondering if there was some I don't know explanation in on Twitter in the media for what happened with the clock management at the end of the game.
And it's something they practice even with, we practice on Friday. Okay, there's 20 seconds left. We're at the minus 30. We need a field goal to win. Or one situation will be we need a touchdown to win.
Right.
38 seconds left. Right. No timeouts.
Right.
Whatever situation Pat's in, whatever situation Coach Reed and the offense finds themselves in, they're confident in it. They're confident in wherever they're at. Now, obviously, the way you laid it out right there is I would love that.
Yeah.
And so would Pat. And so would the receivers. And so would the line. But that's not the hand they were dealt. And obviously, the beginning of
they dealt themselves that hand.
Yeah, well, you're right. And they dealt themselves that hand in the first possession of the game.
Yeah.
Defensively. They go 3 and out against the Colts. I turned to the guy I'm watching the first quarter with. I said, this is going to be a long game for Indy.
Yeah.
The punt happens, muffed punt.
Vegas always knows.
So you mentioned it. The first fucking possession, 3rd and 7, they've got that guy Sky Moore, I believe. Was it
Sky Moore at punt return?
And he overthrows him. And I know he muffed the kick, and we'll talk about the special teams because they were a fucking train wreck. And by the way, victory lap on this, although I was just under 500 for the weekend. One game I didn't bet was this game, and we talked about this. Like, this stunk like roadkill.
It worried me.
I mean, that line stunk like roadkill. So, sorry if you bet the Chiefs, but that first possession, you've got Sky Moore, and Patrick would tell you he wants this throw back. He overthrows him. And remember a few weeks ago, you play a tough game on the road that could be a slugfest, or you could pick the tempo up. And a lot of times in offense, if they get that big play on the first possession or a 60-yard touchdown, you feel like you're in rhythm. You're playing with a little bit of house money. It's like a rusher getting a sack.
It's like you got off the bus hot.
Yeah. Well, when fucking Christian Watson dropped that ball for Aaron Rodgers, that changed the entire tone of that game. And I'm not saying they would have beat the Vikings down there, but that was the start that they needed to get off to on the road that they didn't. You only get a couple of those plays a game. You always say that, like, when offensive coordinators are up there scheming things up, they're like, we got to hit this play.
They call them shot plays, and they call them, opportunity plays.
Yeah.
But more often than not, they call them shot plays. And
especially on the road early.
They have them dialed up in what we call the first 15. And for those of you at home who don't know what the first 15 is, every Saturday night when we're at the hotel, we're not just, dicking around. We're in there in meeting rooms, and the coach is presenting, the head coach is presenting.
Oh, we're dicking around in D-line. Right?
So the head coach is presenting to his offense the best laid plans in his mind for the first 15 plays of the game. And oftentimes there's a handful of runs that they can choose from. There's a handful of play actions. There's a handful of rollouts. And then you get your 2 or 3 shot plays. And the shot plays, they have 3 of them for a reason, because each situation calls for a different shot. And when you have guys like the Chiefs do, you need to be able to capitalize on your shots.
You have a guy like the Chiefs do in Patrick Mahomes.
Well, Kelsey too. He showed up hot.
Right. No,
Travis Kelsey showed up hot.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is you got to hit that.
Yeah.
And he knows that. You got to hit that. If you hit that, and they would tell you it's a totally different game. Special teams were terrible. 14 points on special teams.
Oh, boy.
I know it doesn't. Some people are like, well, do your math again. But no, you have the muff. Okay, Colts are weaponizing the sun.
Not catching
those
the ball.
Shadows.
They're weaponizing the sun. Third quarter, you're either in total darkness, or it looks like The Fountain.
I hate to,
I don't know if you've seen The Fountain, sad movie, but
no.
Hugh Jackman's just looking up into, he's fucking blinded. There's a GIF, you might know it, but that's what Sky Moore was like.
Have you seen The Lobster?
No.
I think Colin Farrell's in it.
I'm out.
Okay.
I got a question.
I didn't like that In Bruges. What's that movie?
In Bruges.
In Bruges. Oh, every line's a joke.
I don't want to tell another man what to do with his roof. And I want roofs to be open, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But those shadows were intense.
Jim knows that, dude. Irsay's like an evil villain in an X-Men movie, bro. Like he's like, oh, I gotta open the roof.
Roof and window open.
And it worked. It fucking worked. For all that quirky shit he does, I know that had Jim Irsay written all over it, and it worked, bro.
I feel like they oriented that bad boy of a stadium incorrectly.
So you have the muff, son,
and then you have the not fielding of the punt.
So that's a big one. It's
is that bad luck or is it a bad decision?
Well, I got to know where their ledge is. On special teams, they always talk about a ledge. Yeah. You know, like where's the ledge? At what point do we no longer field this punt? And at what point do we absolutely have to catch this punt?
That was over the ledge, I would say.
So the ball ends up on the 1. So that's not points, but that's big. Missed extra point leads to having to go for 2. So like you got 1 point there, and then you go for 2, you get it. But even taking the risk to go for 2 sucks. You miss the field goal. You fake a field goal up 17-13 because you have no confidence in Amendola. And then you even to cap it off, you have a bad return, on the 18-yard line with 24 seconds to go. Like so, you take the kick out, to end the game. You run seconds off the clock. Like all these little mistakes. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Just add up to a really bad game on special teams.
Fans were calling to see Justin Reed kick a field goal because they said if anybody's ready to do it, it's not. Dola. It's Justin Reed.
Well, Amendola, he was in the Matrix, and I'm not saying that Kansas City doesn't have the firepower, Kyle, but like that first week, we really kind of jumped back on the bandwagon a little bit quick. And I was talking about this last week, man. I got to see them do this. I got to see them do what they did to the Cardinals against somebody besides the Cardinals. This offense over a couple weeks now has just looked a little like, whether it was the half and Patrick Mahomes, he's frustrated with Bieniemy, which we said was blown out of proportion, right?
Yeah, I mean, you watch them walking off the field. All it takes is taking a look at Patrick and I'm watching Patrick, and he's just receiving coaching. Do we love every bit of coaching that we get? Do we love every opinion we hear on the sideline? Fuck no.
We disagree.
But one thing that I know about Patrick and EB is they're going to work together to try to figure out a solution, and they know they can't be losing games in Indy, regardless of what the special teams is doing. And I want to touch on that special teams one more time before we go to this. Yeah. Dave Tobe, legendary special teams coach. Yeah. He was in Chicago with Hester and those units that would be 10 guys out front blocking for Devin Hester.
Hester.
I don't know why this Harrison Butker injury feels like it was the keystone in a house of cards for the special teams unit, but it seems as if the attention to detail's not there. The moment might have been too big for Sky Moore, whatever it was, and I don't think that's it. I have a lot of faith in Sky Moore, but you know how it goes on teams. Sometimes one thing happens, creates a dozen issues.
That's what I'm saying. You miss that ball. You miss the 3rd and 7. You muff the punt. Like, these are one-play things, but they're things that lead to a totally different ball game. 60 minutes of different football.
I'm not panicking.
I'm not panicking either because they can play defense. Because they can play defense. But what I am panicking about a little bit is their offensive production. That Tyreek Hill guy.
Yeah, he's big.
He makes a difference, man. And Kelsey, like if I was putting on my like guy at the mall hat, like talking football, I'd be like, I literally was so frustrated for the Chiefs watching them last night. I was saying to myself, they got to run with Mahomes more,
and he's healthy enough to run now, right, Chris?
I sound like a basic fan, but it's true. You got to figure out wrinkles now. Like you had the luxury of not running a speed option, of not tucking it and running it. Before, but now it's like, how many option routes with Travis Kelce can we run? Because I just don't see a lot of other stuff working for them. Listen, they had their opportunities. They should have won this game. Who's there?
Howie.
How long are we gonna?
Howie, y'all not brought up Chris Jones yet?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're getting there. The defense. That's what makes you feel good about. That's what makes you feel good about this. And Karlaftis looks strong. I saw him. Kind of like bending Quentin Nelson back yesterday.
He's strong.
Snead played great. They heated up Matt Ryan. The blitz doesn't like the blitz comes so fast on Matt Ryan, dude. Like it feels like the blitz is fast for everybody, but it's even faster for Matt Ryan.
Especially coming from that cat blitz. L'Jarius Sneed is a guy that's flown under the radar. He has been balling in obscurity, I guess you could say, the last few years. Obviously, these Hall of Famers all these Hall of Famers on the Chiefs, and then you look on the edge. We talk about Willie Gay not being in there, who loves to heat up the passer in the A gap and the B gap. He's a great blitzer. Spags brings L'Jarius Sneed off the edge, and to your point, the blitz closes fast on Matt Ryan. Nobody's faster than L'Jarius Sneed.
I thought he looked great.
Yeah, and Nick Bolton too had a sack.
Nick Bolton's awesome. They through the A gap, like I thought Spags called a pretty good game. You know, they were heating this cat up. The only problem was, you know, Indy was out in front of the sticks like the whole game. The longest third down they faced, I think, through 3 quarters was like 3rd and 8. So like Indy was ahead of the sticks. They got big receivers. They got Pierce kid's big, Pittman's big, Woods and Alley Cox.
Woods is huge.
2024. I mean, like those guys. So many dumb Midwesterners ask them if they play for the Pacers, man. Right? Think about they lead the league as NFL players, and like just 2 dudes at Ruth Chris, what's the steakhouse there they go to?
Ruth's Chris.
St. Elmo.
St. Elmo's. They're in St. Elmo's.
Eating
the old white guys are asking if they play for the Pacers, but they're tight ends. They love their big, tall trees. Colts receivers are big, but. Chris Jones, you want to talk about Chris Jones?
Also big.
I was going to talk about the missed opportunities that the Chiefs had. I mean, not only 3rd and 7, you know, Kelsey dropping the ball in the end zone, which was, he would tell you he wants that back, right? He told us he wants that back. He said he's got to be better. You also have the Chris Jones penalty. And my viewing party, or fly on the wall rather, my fly on the wall is what the hell Chris Jones said to Matt Ryan. Because that is...
So Chris Jones is one of those guys that's so much bigger when you see him in person, right? He's all of 6'7".
So big they just threw the flag.
All of 6'7", all of 285, and he's loud and boisterous. He's got a laugh you can hear from across the locker room. I love Chris Jones. Yeah. He was a great teammate. He also broke my leg on accident. But he was a great teammate. And yeah, he's laying on Matt Ryan. He's getting a little extra in terms of the time spent on top of him. When he gets up, it's not what he says. It's not how he says it. It's the proximity to the face. He moves closer with his face. That is an act of aggression in the eyes of referees, I believe. If you get up, start close to somebody so you don't have to get closer to them.
Back up. Create more distance.
I think he said something juicy.
Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can cost me a Week 3 win against the Colts.
Exactly.
He's so big and his voice doesn't match his body, so I can only imagine being like, fuck you, Matt Ryan. I'm going to come after your ass all day, Matt Ryan.
Well, listen, I just... What's going on here?
I threw a flag, but I ripped my headphones out in the process.
You did exactly what I said you should do. You get tangled in your fucking headphones.
Yeah, I did.
You could coach college football.
Yep.
So I just...
Call me Ken Dorsey.
I just want to say this Colts defense, real good, man. They're solid. They didn't have to get a bunch of sacks. They got pressure. And I don't think that the Chiefs O-line was as bad as some people want to say they would have been. But this is a good group up front. I mean, Gilmore played great. Gilmore, that tackle on Kelsey was championship effort, championship football, man. It's a crosser on 3rd down early in the game, and he actually beats Kelsey to the spot and gets his head across, makes that tackle. Grover Stewart playing well. I'll shout him out. Number 90 for the Colts, who's been there a couple years, but I feel like this could be his best year.
Albany State.
And the name Grover, I think, is a good name.
That is a good name.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to Andrew Wiley, the right tackle for the Chiefs.
He was dinged and came back, right?
But he's a guy that they've been seemingly upstairs has been like trying to find a replacement for, you know, and fans love to bitch about Andrew Wiley because they don't know what they're talking about. Andrew Wiley has been getting better and better since Lucas Niang went down last year in Cincinnati for the Chiefs. Andrew Wiley back at right tackle, and he's been playing better and better and better. He competed all game. I just hate to see the Chiefs lose because I feel like I'm still on them.
Yeah.
And we could have won that game.
Yeah.
Okay, Colts.
Well,
real quick.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan had some like App State beating Michigan energy running off that field. It felt like we did it. We upset the big dog. But they're 1-1-1. Shaq Leonard will come back eventually. Playoff team or nah for the Indianapolis Colts?
I don't.
I have to get through those Jacksonville Jaguars.
Can I do a thing that's not? Can I do something that's frowned upon in sports media? Can I wait a week or two?
Yeah,
because their defense is solid enough that they can keep them in games. And maybe the Pierce kid, maybe they missed him a lot week 2.
Home Tennessee, at Denver, home Jacksonville, at Tennessee, the next 4.
I mean,
that'll tell you all you need to know.
I hate to be trendy, but Jags seem like the team to beat in that fucking division right now. I mean, they're winning big boy football games. So the Indy defense is good. I just mentioned that 30% on 3rd down, 2.5 rushing yards. And the 8th time Mahomes has ever been under an 80 passer rating. That was against them. But again, if they're more aggressive, if they're the Chiefs of old, if they're not getting an I formation with 9 minutes to go up 14-10 in low red, going run, and then a pass. Like if they're the old Chiefs, they score and put that game away. It's 21-10.
You want to be able to lean on your guys. You went and acquired all these offensive linemen last year.
You don't have to get too.
You kept the same. You retained the same 5 this year. They got better. Andy Heck's one of the best O-line coaches in the league. He says great teams are able to run the ball into the end zone or run the ball for a first down when everybody in the world knows you're going to run it.
That's cool, Kyle. You have a Ford Raptor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like that Ford Raptor is mostly for decoration. Like, yeah, you can go off road, but you like just driving the Ford Raptor around town.
Yeah.
You got Patrick Mahomes, man. Like you don't need like those are like the big tires on my Tundra. You know, the Andrew Wiley and those guys. Like, yeah, we can do that, but we got Patrick Mahomes. We need to be aggressive when it's time to go put the game away, in my opinion.
That's why you want the V6 Raptor, because it's faster, more fuel efficient.
It's like getting the Z71
can't
over
park
the
that thing.
High
Same with the
Country
Chiefs.
or the LT. You don't need a Z71. Where are you?
What are we doing?
And Matt Ryan, 7 fumbles so far this year. That's a big cause for concern.
A lot
for
of
me.
fumbles.
I mean, like he's just not holding on to the football. But again, like a bunch of comebacks, game-winning drives. You can read those stats somewhere else.
Hey, what's up with these conference pride hats? Like, I know if you're in the NFC or the AFC.
Oh, I don't even.
All the coaches have AFC or NFC under a little banner under the logo on their hats.
They're trying to make
this
that
year.
work.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Stupid hats.
Bucks Packers, man. Let's hit this one before we move on to superlatives and the rest of it. But
boring.
Really boring. Just a boring game. And if you like defense, it wasn't. You know, Rashawn Gary coming on. Vita Vea dropping in coverage. Spot dropping and blowing up a ball and forcing turnovers, that sort of thing. But it was a sloppy game.
Spot, drop.
Shut them down, open up shop.
2 things that stand out to me about Green Bay on offense, outside of the fact that Aaron
Bucks
Rodgers is
offense
awesome.
really blows.
He finished it.
The running game for the Packers is good enough to win them football games. And I think as a byproduct of their running game being legit and Aaron Jones being a stud, A.J. Dillon, all these guys, you can use a smash mouth style of play action protection. You're seeing a lot of left tackle, left guard pulling, a lot of counter pass, power pass. People have to respect the running game. Aaron Rodgers is going to have more and more opportunities as the season goes on to get the ball down the field to Allen Lazard, who showed up in a huge way.
Look what he does back in the lineup.
Showed up in such a huge way. Dobbs.
Big
I mean,
Romeo.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers has ever thrown a rookie receiver or a tight end a touchdown, but he loves Romeo Dobbs.
Big Romeo, 8 catches on 8 targets.
Looks like a veteran.
Oh, hollow man, me sitting Romeo Dobbs on my fantasy team. I literally made it a huge deal that I drafted him and sat him yesterday.
Has he seen the field yet?
He hasn't seen the field yet. I wanted him to show me that.
I think the Cucks are going to go to 2-1 though.
Yeah,
so.
Cucks are 2-1. No surprise. Defending champs.
Yeah, all good.
What are you?
I'll be 3-0.
Okay.
Randall Cobb looks awesome. I like seeing Randall Cobb in the Packers uniform again.
Randall Cobb. Yeah, Randall Cobb.
Big Bob
Cobb and
Tunyon.
Dobbs. Cobb and Dobbs.
Cobb and
But to Kyle's point, I mean, they weren't great yesterday. Aaron Jones 12 for 36, A.J. Dillon 12 for 32. But the pass performance is somebody finish it.
Is
current expectation
is indeed indicative of future success or something to that effect.
Well, no,
so
they're going to be
when they're not effective, you still have to respect it.
You have to respect it. They can run the ball. This is not a team you're going to make a living running the ball on.
That's right.
Just you have to be able to make just enough plays, and then I think we get right down to the end of it.
No Evans, no Godwin.
No Evans, no Godwin. And I've said this all off season. And I was sitting in here yesterday. I was like, when they were trying to score, it kind of reminded me when the Chiefs were trying to score in the low red. Like last year, that's Gronk. It's a big fade to Evans or whatever. Like they're getting in the end zone.
It looks pedestrian how easy it should be.
It's just easy.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle. And of course, beautiful ball to Gage, who fumbled earlier in the game. Big deal for him to make up. Not like Tom has a choice to go to anybody else. They just signed like Cole Beasley off the fucking practice squad. But Tom puts the ball in a perfect spot to Gage. I mean, behind him, that was a beautiful throw because he's going to get killed.
Still got crushed.
Going to be a pick if Brady doesn't put that behind him. But then they can't get the 2-point conversion, and that's the ball game. And of course, Rodgers afterwards is like, "Hey, the jumbotron guy fucked this up. I saw it." They were like, "Hey, Rodgers, what'd you think at the end of the game when there was a delay game?" He was like, "Well, I did that. Essentially what he said.
I don't get. Can you? Okay, because I watched the end of the game. I know what happened. I also thought there was 2 DOGs, and one was called, but what was he talking about?
He was saying that the first leg game, which happens a lot, like the snap won't. I'm sure Rodgers has gotten the benefit of the doubt there before, but the snap comes, it's 0, they score, right?
C0, way to beat, throw the flag.
Yeah, and then they go 2-point conversion, the same thing happens. So what Rodgers is saying is that between those 2 plays, he let them know that he saw what he saw the down before, which is, it's like, hey, watch the tackle, watch the,
watch holding on 74.
I don't know if they would have called it if Rodgers didn't, open his third eye there.
He really looked smug about the whole deal. Like, he was happy. It's like super, like, that was me.
Sometimes there's guys on the Jumbotron show you things they're not supposed to show you.
That was so funny to me.
Well, it's like Jumbotron got up there and ran an ad for Moneyless Society or something. Hard cut. Joe Rogan.
Ayahuasca.
All right, so
Fournette was huge again in the 2-minute drive. The one thing that was teach tape was the end of the game onside kick. Alan Lazard attacking the football, going to get it, and getting in the fetal position. Like, there was no gray area there. That was Alan Lazard's football.
That's how you do that thing.
He's a member of the houses.
Rashawn Gary coming along, dude. Hey, best of the rest, guys. The Jaguars. Okay? The Jags, dude. They're pretty good.
Baldy's on Twitter calling their offensive line the Duval Wall.
The Duval Wall.
And I love
well, you know what helps the Duval Wall when you get the ball out in 2.39 seconds. Lawrence coming to that game. They had a game plan. It's 2 edge rushers. I was worried they were going to wreck the game. Joey Bosa leaves, right? And that's kind of all she. Well, really, when it was all she wrote is when they come out of the half and James Robinson breaks that big 4th and 1. As you know, a lot of the biggest runs come on short yardage. I mean, one broken tackle, you're gone. So I think more than anything, the Chargers had a chance to win this or keep in this game early. They had a drop on 3rd and 6. They dropped the ball in the end zone, I believe it was. And that was just, from then, Jacksonville had dictated the terms of this game. And I personally, we were talking about this, Herbert shouldn't have been in the game probably that long.
No, absolutely not. And one point about James, and I'm going to go back to Herbert, but one point about James Robinson, in the first quarter, he had an explosive run. That sets the tone. That's one of those first 15 plays we talked about. If we get this thing blocked up, you could hit your head on the goalpost. He damn near did. I think he got like 35, 40 yards on that first explosive read. It sends a message and sets the tone immediately. The front 7 of that defense, they're going to be playing on their heels all day. And that sets up that quick passing game. That sets up the play action. But when we talk about Justin Herbert, I was pissed. I was really pissed. And I played on a team with Brandon Staley as a staff member. He coached Khalil Mack and the outside linebackers. I loved Brandon Staley. I love the way he interacted with his players. I think that he would know better than to keep a guy in down 38-10, taking shots, deep shots down the field and taking shots to the ribs.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is the reason for the season if you're the LA Chargers.
Brandon Staley's a real literal guy, isn't he? He just everything's real literal with him. We're trying to win.
I would be leading the charge on getting him out.
Bro, abandon your plan.
It's you pay Chase Daniel however much that he's earned as the backup quarterback. And I've also played with Chase Daniel. He's ready to play. I
thought they were going to roll with him.
If you're down, apparently on the pregame warm-up, they were practicing the intros. Chase Daniel intro happened, so people were writing, he's going to start. Justin Herbert obviously comes out. You're down 38-10. I would be in my coach's ear on the sideline saying, get that guy out. And you know what? Unfortunately, most coaches are going to say, well, why don't you get him blocked?
I think tying a football game that can send you to the playoff, or not going for the tie was bad, right? Is like a strategy deal. I thought this was bad in its own way. Like the risk of losing Justin Herbert or worsening that injury. And the thing is, you don't know how he's going to feel today until today. Like that's a lot of the thing is these guys are drugged up. We are zooted on Sunday. If you got a rib injury, I'm pretty sure they gave him that,
he got a shot.
He got a shot just like Tyrod Taylor.
From Tyrod's doctor.
Same doctor.
Miller Lite mentioned fly on the wall of that room. Is there a joke? Hey, have you figured this out yet? Or
I mean, probably.
Or is the doc hey, I know where to go with this
You
one.
got to tell a joke.
The doc,
Really?
the doc did good. The first third down, Justin Herbert had,
Well, no,
he had zip on the football.
The guy's actually, there's a lawsuit pending right
I
now,
know.
so maybe it's not a joke time. But yeah, you take the shot, you go out there, you go down big, and he's still taking shots in a ball game that's well out of hand.
He took a lot of
actually
shots.
exactly what the doctor said. He said, I have a lawsuit pending, so I'm not going to make a joke.
I can't make a joke.
I can't make a joke. This is not joke time.
Because
the
then
lawsuit's done, I'll come back. We can joke.
Herbert becomes a character witness against the doctor at that point. It's a mess.
Now you got your all-pro left tackle, Rashawn Slater, in the training room next to your all-pro
Major
defensive
bicep
end,
injury.
Joey Bosa.
Just reported.
So you've got a quarterback that's gun shy because of the nature of his injury, and then you go take a look at that film, and he's taking shots from everywhere all over the field, even late in the game.
Bro, he didn't look gun shy on that shot to Guyton. I know what you mean, but boy,
now
he
that
can
his
still
left
rip
tackle,
that ball.
now that his left tackle's out, the week of preparation, they're gonna have their backup in. So then against the scout team, scout DN might win a couple times. Then you get Justin Herbert second guessing protection. I'm just saying, if you take him out of this football game, it might lead to better things down the road. And to your point about the risk of keeping him in there, not only tonight but tomorrow and the following weeks.
Well, they got the Texans this week.
Significant bicep for Slater.
Now, it's significant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, people had this team in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry.
No bueno
It's gonna be tough.
I had this team in the Super Bowl.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
against the Vikings.
Yep. Hey, just chill, all right?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do that.
Relax.
They're 2-1, the Vikings.
Yeah, they're still 2-1. They feel very 2-1.
So
to
are
me.
the Bears.
Hey, by the way, Dan, man, I love Dan. I love our guy Dan, but and he owned it, which I think was awesome, and I believe him. It's not just lip service. Like he's like, man, I regret that, and I'm sorry to my players, but the 4th and short, you got a chance to ice this ball game. That it goes against everything you stand for as the Detroit Lions now to not take that game into your own hands,
dude, or punt it.
Or punt. But I would have gone.
The conservative move is to punt. The killer move is to go for it. The field goal try from 54 is not the move
no sense.
to go up 6.
And he was really aggressive early. He's winning all these analytics people over. Like he's the one meathead that these stat heads are like coming around on. And then you go and do that. But he took accountability for it. But at the end of the day, that's a loss. And it's not like the Lions lose close games in years past, and you're like, well, this is part of them trying to learn how to win and that sort of thing. And it is. But this is a team whose playoff window's open right now. It's the NFC.
Even with Vikes to the Super Bowl, we were on Detroit. I think we were willing to accept after this week that Detroit might be the better team than Minnesota in that division moving forward. And maybe they still will be, but that's a tough one.
They had a chance, man.
Tough one.
They had a chance. And with teams like the Saints looking shitty, there are spots opening up for you.
They're usually the shoe-in to be in that last spot. It's like the Saints, even if they're not good, we're going to play the Saints in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. And the NFC West looks wounded. So, you're these are opportunities for you if you're Detroit. And maybe an Eagles hangover for Cousins and for Jefferson. Okudah had a really good day. I want to shout out Okudah. Great day by the numbers. 3 catches, 14 yards against Jefferson. And his pass coverage has been pretty good this year. I mean, Devontae Smith didn't have a day against him. 0 catches week 1. McLaurin, 2 catches, 22 yards. The guy played 10 games in 2 years, but
who does Justin Jefferson have next week? He went from Slay to Okudah. He had a rough couple weeks.
I don't know, but
they're in for it.
Saints.
Another tough week. That's gonna be a great matchup.
I'm taking the under.
Okay, and then another. We were talking about the Chargers earlier. You know who they have in 2 weeks?
Who?
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
We got the Chili's.
The Chargers. They have the Browns, dude. They got Clowney, and they're gonna get some. It's gonna be ribs are gonna be on the menu for Myles Garrett and barbecue sauce and Khalil Mack. Barbecue sauce, which is the best part of that jingle.
Barbecue sauce.
Luke loves saying barbecue sauce.
Chili's baby back ribs.
The dude is in there. Do you see the video of these guys recording that track?
No.
Oh, the video's tremendous. You see what everybody looks like.
They're like real musicians.
Real musicians.
Chili's.
So 2 weeks from now, we're going to see how those ribs hold up because it's going to be, that's the...
Well, it's the cartilage. It's the cartilage, right?
Let's hope he's healthy, for crying out loud.
Carolina, New Orleans, I don't even want to talk about that. They got everybody's out for them. The Saints already. You got a transverse fracture in Jameis Winston's back. He needs a backiotomy.
I broke my back. Spinal.
Olave went for 400 yards, which was neat.
That's somebody had a good day. Baltimore, New England. I think it's all about what the hell did the Patriots do next? If Mac Jones is out for a while, which it looks like he will be,
Bailey's
and before
happy.
he was out for a while, there's a few things that like are on the take chopping block here. Like, is Mac Jones the guy? Joe Judge and Matt Patricia. Like, what the hell are they doing? And then he gets hurt. So it was a terrible day for them. 3 turnovers in the fourth quarter. They were big turnovers. The Baltimore defense is still bad, dude. Like, Baltimore's back end is still bad. They were giving up chunks in the passing game, but they came up and made some plays when they had to. I don't want to say bad. I don't want to be disrespectful, but they're
a little
still
disjointed right now.
They're disjointed, Kyle. Thank you.
Quite literally. They're coming back from some ACL work. And
I want to say this about the gritty.
Isn't that like a ligament?
yeah.
If you're a white guy and you do
Which holds things in their joints.
Got you. Okay.
Thanks for specifying.
If you're a white guy doing the gritty,
Yeah.
like, be careful. Mac Jones,
Practice.
I love
Adam Schefter,
Mac Jones
got him.
dancing.
You see when Adam Schefter did the gritty,
Yeah.
got hurt same night. Mac Jones did the gritty, got hurt same day.
Gesicki was
Not
flawless
a huge sample size. Yeah, well,
last week.
dropped the ball yesterday. The curse of the gritty. Mac Jones is going to be out for a while. You look at their schedule, it's actually kind of soft the next 4 to 6. 31-26, the Ravens fumble at the 39, so then the Pats get a 3rd and goal from the 10. You get the Humphrey pick, and then the killer was Aguilar, my guy, the fumble. Hamilton forced it, so that's big. He had a really rough week last week, but Mac Jones threw a pick again late, so 3 turnovers in the 4th. That's tough for them.
Buddy.
Yikes.
LaMarvelous, 5 touchdowns.
I know, but we know, we know. Everybody's making a big deal about Tua. Everybody's making a big deal about all these guys. Like, Lamar is just quietly going out and preparing to have a Brinks truck backed up.
You know what?
To his house, dude. Like,
Lamar
every week.
Jackson is my retroactive.
We haven't done superlatives.
No. We did America's Team to start the show.
Sorry.
And I'm going to add Lamar Jackson into mine because he's one of those guys you can't say anything about. Not that there's anything bad to say about Lamar Jackson.
Not a team.
I know, but he is the team.
Ah.
I like it.
Okay. Lamar Jackson, that's good.
Allowed.
If you say anything about Lamar Jackson, you are going to. It's like if you say something about Beyonce.
Yeah, seriously, but even more serious, in my opinion.
That's serious.
Lamar Jackson is out there, just like you said. You can set your watch to it. He's gonna ball.
But what about Bill taking away like the one thing you can do? Throw a spy out there, or no? We just don't have the Jims and the
I
Joes.
don't know. Well, they're not real talented defensively. I mean, they have some good players, but they're not as talented as in years past. They're going through a transition. This is a transition year for the Patriots, man. Like, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but this is not a year they're supposed to compete.
Well, if this is 6-11, is Bill saying, "Nah, I'm out," or is he going to outlast Brady no matter what?
He's drafting a quarterback.
That's the MO.
He's drafting a quarterback.
Okay, 6-11. I mean, that might be Keaton Slovis.
Maybe it's the Keaton Slovis.
Brennan Armstrong.
Might be Brennan Armstrong.
Might be Brennan Armstrong.
You never know.
And then, the Rams down a bunch of corners and Kyler still wasn't great. So, like I said last week, we run for 80 yards on a 2-point conversion, stage a comeback, but that's not sustainable. They got to figure things out there. Same thing with Vegas, nice comeback towards the end, but we're getting into the hey, we're not going to talk about the Raiders much zone on this podcast. Matt Collins, shout out.
Yep.
Former special teams guy in Philly, great dude. Love Matt Collins. He's getting a lot of touches that would be going to Devontae if not for taking him away.
Respectfully, Cowboy, I might feel better about Vegas than I do about Denver. 0-3 versus 2-1.
Fair.
I feel better about Denver. It's just better weather.
I do like the Raiders in that head-to-head.
And I think that's next week, right? Right? Denver and Vegas.
I like the Raiders in that head-to-head.
Get right week for Vegas.
What do you think the line's going to be there?
Where's the game?
4.5, 6.5.
I will need to know where the game is.
They would love to play an overreaction on the Broncos into this thing, but they won 11-10. So How does Vegas do that?
No, they will do that.
It's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas.
Okay, Denver's 2-1. Vegas is 0-3. I will say that the Denver Broncos are favored by
2.5.
1.5.
They're going to be 2.5.
It's going to be -1.5.
Vegas is favored by 2.
Holy
Vegas.
Wow.
That's what I was thinking. Vegas -1.5 too, right?
Well, you know what? Vegas is the establishment of Las Vegas is really they know we're all going to say that, right?
The odds makers are.
The odds makers know that we're not going to bet.
Smarter than we are.
Yeah,
that's the right. That's a good line.
That's the right line, and
Yep.
I'm going to take the Raiders.
Yep.
In fact, like book it
Because
right now.
everybody-
I will too.
Because everybody's going to jump on Denver right now.
Yeah,
That's my
Did you
first
see him
win
the other
bet.
night? No, I didn't. I had to go to bed because I had work in the morning, but I heard they won.
Jump on Vegas.
11-10.
You heard it here first on the Green Light Pod. We're all taking the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's right.
They might be America's team next week,
Let's
depending
raid.
on how much money we put. All right, let's do the
let's raid. Let's raid.
Oh, nice.
Vegas country, let's raid. Vegas country, let's raid. Vegas country, let's raid.
The autumn wind was a
All right. Let's go Miller Lite mentions. Get the fuck out of here, huh?
yeah.
I can go get a nap. I'm up 2:30, falling asleep,
fucking
looking at the
man.
condensed game of the Raiders and the Titans. Like, why am I doing this? We're not going to talk about these teams.
I'll tell you
long.
why. Because it was one of 18 games decided by 3 points or fewer through 3 weeks. The
NFL is
most
king.
ever.
NFL is king.
Expect the unexpected.
All hail the NFL, dude.
Even when the
trash.
games stink, they're electric.
Yeah, everybody. I'm not watching the NFL anymore. Okay.
I was
Good luck
glued
with
to
that.
the Tampa Green Bay game.
Hey, is Swifty really going to be the halftime show?
No, Rihanna is, and you can also bet that I'll be there
Damn.
with binoculars.
What happened to the Swifty rumor?
Desperado.
You gonna be like Bill Belichick up there?
Yeah, just scouting.
Desperado, why
reading.
don't you come to your senses?
You've been out climbing fences.
Name the band, Macon.
Of Desperado?
Yeah.
Eagles.
Rihanna.
And
Okay.
Rihanna.
Miller Lite mentions Bevel Conway, man. This was a Bevel Conway thick week. 2 C's. Okay. I'm giving it out to UNC Notre Dame, I think.
I got sniped.
Sorry. But, I could take any number of these. I thought you might go Florida, Tennessee.
Dog, all right, leave me something on the bone.
But I don't like Florida, Tennessee.
Oh, talk to
it's
me.
It's better at the Swamp.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I really do like that orange lid, the white jersey, the blue pant, which you're not going to get at the Swamp. And it's a lot of Tennessee orange, but I think it's beautiful.
Nealon's so gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
I want to make out with Nealon.
Yeah, I'd make out with the Swamp as well.
Yeah. Yeah, BYU Wyoming deserves a
Holy
fucking...
shit, dude.
Hold on, this
Did
is
I
good.
leave my
No,
computer
this is good.
open?
We just have good taste. BYU Wyoming, okay?
Yeah.
Kansas City Indy should be in the conversation. Red team, blue team.
Okay, the
If we got a red team on the field, we need a blue team on the field. We can't have these two red team games. Falcons, Chiefs.
I love
Vomit all over my T-shirt.
like my Bevel Conway was roof open, window open, blue and white versus red and white.
Yeah, see, there you
Chiefs,
go.
Colts.
There you go.
It's like the Senior Bowl,
It's like an old video game.
Yeah.
When, like, in the MLB game in the 90s, the Reds would play the Blue Jays. It was simple. One team had a red helmet, one had a blue.
Yankees,
blue
Red
helmet.
Sox.
Okay. What sucks about that is the turf itself in Indy, and we've talked about it. But I don't know if
No
there's
question.
too many rubber pellets in there or what. Because when I saw Carolina Notre Dame, I had to look up to remind myself that they have turf down in Kenan Stadium now. They've had it for 3 years.
Imagine if they had the fucking grass,
I know.
dude.
And so I looked up the brand. The brand is called AstroTurf, trademark.
Real fucking...
And it looks as close to grass as I've ever seen fake grass looking.
In
now,
Carolina.
At UNC. Now in Indianapolis, it doesn't. And the shadows bothered me.
It's that Midwest grass.
And I understand you guys and your colors, and it's a fine call. But that
Okay.
does not make that on the list.
Let me try this one on for size, and then we'll move on. But K-State, Oklahoma. Under those...
Dude, I mean, okay.
no, well,
Okay.
they're the right picks.
Wyoming, BYU, Oklahoma, K-State, Florida, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Carolina.
It's pretty clear,
Awesome.
though. It's pretty clear. Do we know uniforms or do we know uniforms?
And I've got one more that I won't say so I can have a Bevel Conway this
Hit it.
week. Okay. UCLA at Colorado. That was gold,
Pretty.
white, gold at
Beautiful.
gold, black, gold at Folsom.
Oh, it's beautiful.
UCLA won 45-17.
So K-State, Oklahoma. I feel like the lights at that stadium are a little bit dim.
They are,
right?
And with those unis, it could be 1993.
Yeah,
K-State
I love it.
Oklahoma.
I love it. I fucking love it. Okay, Hollow Man, me, Dobbs on the bench. Go ahead.
Hollow Man, chalky butt punt. Trent Sherfield.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You got a ball.
But who feels bad about that? Is it the up back?
Yeah, Morstead was saying, dog, I got a punt.
Yeah, you're right.
Hollow Man will be Sky Moore in particular, but the special teams of the Chiefs.
No question. Okay. Also, Brady, I almost want to give him an award just for breaking his knee brace for like absolutely nothing. Did you see that when
he's a bit ornery
during that game? He took off and ran like further than he's run in 3 years, and then slid like hard as fuck into the ground. And everybody was like, "Oh, is he okay? He's tripping. He's stumbling." His Don Joy got mangled.
And anybody who's ever had a Don Joy,
oh, it's so
when
frustrating.
it comes undone, you're just like, "Can I get some help?" And then it's not getting on. And you're like, "Fuck it!" And you take it off. You chuck it.
And you feel great because in New England they used to make the D linemen wear their knee braces in practice, and we used to game the fuck out of the system there. Sorry, Bill.
Y'all remember Chopat straps?
We used to put fake knee braces on.
Chopat straps, they'd go right on your teletendon.
You remember Copper Fit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Brett
company's
Favre
funded 100% with welfare money.
Yeah.
Hey, we've talked about Brett Favre twice now. I just don't know what else to say.
If anybody's keeping receipts,
it's fucking disappointing.
Brett
That's
Favre
how our government
did some
works.
bad shit.
Our government's fucked up too.
He may be going to jail. Brett Favre.
That's true. I'm glad we talked about Brett Favre first, though.
Jeez.
And I'm a little concerned that the Celtics might be part of the problem because they suspended Ime Udoka, but not Brett Favre.
That's right. That's right.
Double standard.
Why didn't they suspend Brett Favre? Okay, best flight. I'm gonna give it to Doug Peterson, the Jags. Man, that's a long flight. Yeah, Kyle, you made a good point off camera, off mic. But that's a fucking big win for them. And I've been on a Doug Peterson flight. It's awesome. You're back there, might be sipping a little Crown, and then all of a sudden you look up and Doug's leaning on your chair. He's like, "How we doing, guys?" He's a big "How we doing, guys" guy. He comes back with the smile on his face. He's not back there.
Big old head.
Just fucking, you're happy to see Doug, man. When Doug comes back he doesn't abuse the right to come to the back of the plane. Well, he should have us in the front of the plane, Doug. We should fly those guys first class. That was one thing I wasn't a big fan of. But Doug is a great guy to fly with, man. He comes to the back and checks in on guys, so I would give him best plane ride.
You spoke about the Crown, Chris.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings are going to London town, all right?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to face the Saints. London Town was the sixth studio album by the British-American rock group Wings. It was released in March 1978. London Town charted in the top 5 positions in the UK and the US. It failed to repeat the success of Wings' 3 previous albums, however, and received mostly unfavorable reviews from music critics. The lead single, With a Little Luck, was a #1 hit in the US, but the album's subsequent singles achieved only minor chart success. Also recorded during the sessions was the 1977 non-album single, Mull of Kintyre, which until 1984 was the best-selling single in UK chart history. So the Vikings get the win over the Lions, and then they get to go to the greatest place on earth, London, England.
And New Orleans is a band on the run right now. They feel like a band on the run.
Worst plane ride. Minnesota.
Threw you off there that I have a
New Orleans Saints.
Hey, Band on the Run's a fucking jam, dude. That is a jam, dude.
Purple Haze, yeah. So the Saints have to also fly to London, but they went directly from Charlotte, North Carolina to London. Inside info, K2, shout out. Yeah. And James is flying with broken backs. I mean, he's got multiple broken backs.
Transverse. They go over a little turbulence over the Atlantic Ocean.
Fractures.
You go over a little turbulence there, it's problematic.
Kalo, best and worst.
I hate flying across the ocean.
It's sketchy. As if you wouldn't die in a plane crash over America. Like sometimes, especially if it's at night over the ocean, I'm like, we're going to crash. If by chance I fucking survive, I'm going to be in the dark dealing with sharks.
Bro, have you ever seen Sully?
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Best plane ride.
You ever seen
Sully.
Castaway? Castaway was like those Clemson corners Saturday. They were like Tom Hanks in Castaway. just on an island, no help.
My best plane ride was the Cincinnati football Bengals. They win by 2+ possessions. Hard to do in this National Football League, especially if you're a winless team. Ooh, Trey Hendrickson, shout out to Trey Hendrickson. 2 sacks, forced fumbles. The guy showing up. He wasn't in the stat column earlier, but you and I talked about this. You don't have to be in the stat column in order to
affect the game.
To affect the game. But shout out to Trey. He got on the stat column. And when the defensive linemen are happy on the flight home after a win,
we set the tone.
It's a party. You know what I mean?
We set the tone.
Worst
flight, Raiders. Man, that's just
that New England and Josh McDaniels could come out right about now.
It's gonna be tough.
We're gonna be hitting a lot in practice.
They left Cashville, a town with a lot of character and charm, to go to Vegas, another town with a lot of
when you want the day to end.
A lot of bachelorette parties in both places.
You want the day to end after a loss.
Bachelorette Bowl. That was the Bachelorette Bowl.
You know what they say after a loss? Like, you're going to wake up tomorrow, the sun's going to come up. Well, they just extended their fucking day by going west.
Tennessee celebrated the Bachelorette Bowl by almost giving it up. I don't know. I imagine that a lot of those chicks are like, we're just here for a good time.
Yeah.
We don't want to close any deals.
I don't know about any of
Were
that.
there any fumbles that weren't lost? Strip tease.
Jeez. That was good.
Thanks.
Hey. Up here.
Thanks.
All right, so worst plane ride, easily the Bills, dude. Easily the Bills. Talk about, there's nothing worse than getting more dehydrated after you play in a sauna and losing, and just the way the injuries hurt after a hot game, and just the way that stadium was so loud, they could probably hear it on the bus. You know, like when you lose a game on the road and it gets really loud at the end, like that, when you get Bob Seger, the echo from the amplifier ringing in his head.
Night moves.
He's got fucking heart. Josh Allen has, he's got the dulcet tones of Tua Tagovailoa in his ear, comforting him after the game, which had to be emasculating as fuck for a guy like Josh Allen. And the crowd noise that was just ringing in his, like, that's a tough loss and a tough ride back. So yeah, I'll give the worst to the Buffalo Bills.
Have y'all mentioned to Frank Gore,
who fell out of the America's team rating? America, big what have you done for me lately country?
Yeah, that's for sure.
STL Memorial / Frank Gore Award. I talked about Eddie Jackson earlier, but I'm going to talk again about Khalil Herbert. He had 6 explosive runs, 8 first downs.
Excelling in
obscurity. You're giving 2 St. Louis Memorial Awards? We picking one?
I'm picked one, the Khalil Herbert.
Okay, Khalil Herbert.
I saw Montgomery go down, and I said the only part of our offense that I really truly believe in right now is on the sideline, and Herbert comes in again. He's done it time and time again, and he balls.
Tyler Lockett. 18 receptions, nearly 200 yards last 2 weeks, 11 first downs he's gotten in 3 games. That's an underrated stat, 11 first downs. I'm not done. Tyler Lockett turns 30 years old on Wednesday. Happy birthday, Tyler.
Go Tyler Lockett.
This is the best you'll ever feel.
He went to K-State. Shout out K-State. They beat Oklahoma.
That's right.
In Norman. And Tyler...
I hear in that Seattle game, Geno continued to prove that he's the guy, and Cordell Patterson had 100 yards through 3 quarters.
That's right. And there was a drone.
Dude. That's all we need to know about that fucking game. We'll just leave it there.
And Tyler was the 69th overall pick in the 2015 NFL draft.
They find wide receivers, dude. They really do. I mean, they got a little Steelers, vibe up there. The way they've had good, unheralded guys like Doug Baldwin. I'm talking about more contemporary guys.
Joey Galloway.
Yeah.
Decaf.
Yeah. Decaf Metcalf. I'll go. Yeah, Roquan Smith, dude. It's just a gutsy. Come put on my serious hat here. And you've been there, Kyle. Bad teams, chips are down. Bad 2-1 teams, like the illusion that maybe we're good, but you need those guys to play like that, to breathe like belief and life into the rest of the team. And for a guy like that to show up to the stadium, not sure he's going to play, and to play with that kind of heart, he really fits the city. So fly on the wall. I want Chris Jones. I want to know what the fuck he said. Asshole of the week. I'm going to give this out. I know it's a kind of a new one. You guys might not have seen this. I think it's in the doc. There was a high school football game, Reed. This kid at the high school football game makes it on the field, which is not hard in high school football, right? He's kind of like he's rushing the field in the middle of the game. He's not streaking. He's got a fucking flag. It says, "I eat ass." He's running across the field, right? And this hero is headed to this 10-foot wall. He throws the flag over the wall. He jumps up. He's scaling the wall. So he eats ass, and he's like a fucking American Ninja Warrior. But this high school coach who's doing he's booking it like a 4.8 behind this guy, hawking him down, and slams him into the ground, like head first into the track that runs around the field. And I'm just saying, man.
Oh, we got it right here on the thing.
Yeah,
this guy's the asshole of the week. The coach is all the guy's saying is he eats ass.
Oh, that's
wow.
like,
look, angle of pursuit.
And this coach is just, watch him. But watch how hard he slams him onto the ground.
Oh,
that's unnecessary.
Oh,
gonna be eating ass through a straw now, buddy.
And the sideline goes absolutely fucking crazy when this coach finally makes it. He dropped his playbook. He said, "My plan is out the window, and I'm making an angle of attack here."
I love the punctuation on that flag.
Why are the kids excited? They don't eat ass? The kids, they're like not ass eaters,
man. Not once.
I
just
eat
jumping
ass.
around.
I eat ass, period, was the
punctuated the right way.
It's capital
Some
I.
closure.
So that's a good way to end the show, unless you guys got any other Miller Lite mentions.
I mean, I have several, but I'm not gonna.
Asshole of the week is the guy that won't let
I'll give it to Trent Sherfields.
Kyle, once again, really good on CBS. Really good on CBS.
Great on Greenlight
Game
Pod.
ball. I'm giving the game ball to Kyle Long.
Thank you.
Oh, Cam Robinson and Jawan Taylor to sound smart.
Okay.
You guys happy to see the Pro Bowl go?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, skills competition would be infinitely more entertaining. I can at least do some content out of that. I can't even do content out of the game they play now.
I want to go on record and say that I would really enjoy to see the superstars of our game do an not American Ninja Warrior, I would love to see the superstars of our game do an American Gladiator of years past type event. I'm talking Patrick Mahomes at the tennis ball shooter thing, and receivers trying to get across, and then maybe Aaron Donald on a tower having some kind of fight with, you know what I'm saying, like oars with pads on the end. I think it would be awesome.
I agree.
I think the NFL might hire you.
They already have. Chris.
Yeah. Take care. We'll be back Wednesday with maybe one of the best pass rushers in the game, but who also might have lost this week, and maybe he doesn't want to come on, so I don't want to say who it is.
One of my favorite players of all time. I've got one of his jerseys.
Rhymes
me
with
too.
John Schiller.
I don't have one of his jerseys.
What?
Rhymes with
I
John
don't have one
Schiller.
of his jerseys, but one of my favorite players of all time too.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Go Blue.
Take care. Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.